Demo with all of these devices, just so you guys know what you're looking at when you get them. And he's already excited. Look at his face. You see that? So should be able to see me in there, red, orange, and yellow guy.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm the warmest thing inside here. If you were a bridal party, I would be the hottest thing inside the video frame. Yeah, that works. I got jokes all night long too. But anyway, we're looking for blue and black. Those are going to be our cold spots. So I'm looking for them to either move or to take shape. When I say move, your windshields are going to be colder than everything else. They're going to show up black, and they're not going to move. So it's just the musician trying to get his damn trunk shut.
Like someone getting their head bashed into the car over there?
Yeah, it might be. I brushed it to this corner on purpose. Told you I got jokes all night. But we want them, when I say take shape, I want a head, shoulders, moving arms and legs. So that's what we've caught with this camera in the past, and it is a legitimate FLIR. Like, this is not a phone app you guys can go home and download. That's what I was popping onto this phone. There's only certain phones that can actually handle the hardware, but the software sucks no matter which piece of hardware it's on. I will be giving you starts and stops throughout the evening. Just because we don't want to be recording in between spaces, because we don't want to recreate the Blair Witch Project.
It's going to be a lot of data.
Yeah. So most people, even within a 2 to 2.5 hour time frame that we're going to spend together, we'll still get probably a good hour to an hour and a half of video. So kind of keep that in mind. So the cool thing for you guys is that there's a blue dot bouncing on the screen. Do you guys kind of see that bouncing around over there? That's showing you the coldest spot in the frame at that moment. It's 81 degrees out here ambient. I'm going to be looking for 15 plus degree temperature drops. That's 66 degrees and colder. So again, we might not see the actual blue or black behind it. It might just be a dot, and it might say 60 degrees. I'm actually going to be excited about that. Just because we don't have a full-blown figure doesn't mean that there's not anything going on. So you will get this full video back. The blue dot will be in your video, just so you have that idea. But this is your people walking around, so lots of eyes back and forth. So who the heck were Charles and Eliza Pinckney? They actually had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. It's 3 different Chucks. That's why we look for those secondary clues. And you can just keep it running the whole time we are here. Like, even if somebody walks by, just point it at the ground. We'll understand. So EMF measures electricity, right? So if you were to put this device behind your TV, it's going to run about 40 to 60 milligauss. So that kind of gives you a baseline of what we're looking for here. Your microwave, I just got a 10. I don't know if it's from me shaking it or not, probably. Your microwave runs at about 150 to 170. That's pretty high. The highest I've ever seen this device go has been here in my 11 years of ghost hunting, and not just in Charleston. 214 milligauss. We left. I have epilepsy. That is too much electricity in the air for the guy with the neurological disorder. We got the hell out of here. So, and I told them the answers to their questions at the next stop. So if that tells you why I always carry one of these, the average spike for here is between 18 to 22 milligauss. That's astronomically high for a space with no electricity. That's half the amount of what your TV puts off. So just kind of get that inkling of thought. Now, you're going to have to take my word for this, because I'm going to be writing all of these numbers down, or whatever pops up, but I'm also going to escalate it. So when I escalate it, I don't want to write down 2.5, then 5, then back to a 2.5.
Where'd you get your spike at? Like, where in the parking lot?
It changes on a nightly basis.
You got some transformers up there that probably
generate... Way too far away.
Okay.
Way too far away. In order for this thing to go off, I just had a 7.9. See how it's got a 7.4, 7.6, and then it'll go down to 1.3. Again, this is somebody just swinging by and saying hello.
Gotcha.
So the transformers around us, way too far away.
Okay.
Like, it literally has to touch the device in order for it to be able to give off that kind of signal. Trust me, we've tested things like that. Like, let's get closer to it and see how high it'll go, because it should go higher as you get closer to it, and that's never the case. Absolutely. In this location, it is the weirdest space ever. So, and I've even had other paranormal investigators here, like, that take my route because they want access to haunted locations, and they bring their own gear. Same thing.
Cool.
They're like blown away by some of the readings they get. So what did I say that was? A 7.9? I think
something like that.
I can only hear you like half.
I know. So what do you got? Have you heard anything?
Before when you were talking, I heard foundation, hate. There was another one. It's like someone who's like high up, like in politics. Like what's a
senator, congressman?
I think I did hear senator actually. It may have been senator.
I'll write down senator. It's usually your first instinct, and it's okay to have Tourette syndrome and interrupt me. Like, it happens on a regular basis.
It was like 5 minutes ago, so I can't remember.
Okay. And that's why I just shout them out when you get them.
Oh.
If you're giving me too much, I'm like, Taylor, calm it down. So, because again, most of what you're going to get, it's pretty much.
It's a lot of rapping.
You listen to a lot of rap, or is that a noise?
I don't listen.
Because rap annoys the shit out of me. So, All right, so I say we take a quick lap around and see what we got going on. You're pretty much the star of the show. So with his, I don't always follow up in real time because the screen is small. So it's all for me about watching it on a large computer screen, and I send it to YouTube so you guys can watch it on your TV.
Cool.
So let's take a lap around. Let's see what you can get at it.
So
Oh, 14.6 as soon as I take a step.
her name was Eliza, right?
Eliza. With a Z.
Eliza. How did you die, Eliza? Should we introduce ourselves first?
I already
Hello.
did. I'll explain that later. Every night I stop here just to let her know who's coming. It's kind of a deal I made with her. I'll explain before we leave. But she already knows your names. Because Taylor had to put your name in there, so I have it written down.
What?
Eliza
Sorry.
knows we're here.
Oh.
And I'm here 5 out of 7 nights a week, so just depending on the weather and whatever day football is popular.
Do you want to listen too?
Sure. Let's see what you're experiencing.
It's a little.
Can you hear it's another person?
Yeah, and also for dark.
Yeah.
Again, it's all those little silly radio things you're going to hear. Eliza, you knew we were coming. You can give me a higher number than that 14. You know, you just got to get closer. Jack was curious on how you passed away, so feel free to tell us. You know how these boxes work.
You sure I was? It was like a song that was like sang in the chorus.
And it is about the song lyrics, not the artist. So you're correct. Eliza, come a little bit closer. Give us some of those messages. We're only focused on how you passed away and the details around that. We'll take the date, the cause, your age, all the normal questions that we normally ask. It's okay to shout out whatever you
Dude,
guys.
it kind of looks weird right by this car. To the left of it?
I see. You are picking up the post right next to it.
Okay.
It's like the wrought iron guardrail. I haven't gotten anything above that 14.
.358. That was clear.
That was clear.
I feel like.
You're better off.
Eliza, did you bring
Sunday,
Charles with you?
December 3rd.
What was it?
Sunday,
December
December 3rd. What was that?
Heard you. I don't know.
So I'm excited about December and that 358 that you guys heard so far.
That was probably the clearest that came through, but it could just be like the station.
Eliza, did you bring
Professional.
Charles with you? If you did, you can feel free to have him say his name or give us something else other than the clue you've already given us. Maybe you want to tell us how long you two were married. That would make sense to me. That would define that you brought Charles with you. 14.5.
Is Eliza stuck here, or is she choosing to come back to this plane?
I'm not a person who believes in the stuck theory. I believe in the afterlife we can travel. We'll talk more by the end of the space of why we're here. I'm not gonna, and this is kind of a stretch, but as soon as I asked Eliza, like she could tell us how long they were married, the number 14 showed up here.
Okay.
They were married for 14 years exactly, until his death. It is kind of a stretch because it wasn't a direct word and verbal. It showed up here. Normally I'd look at that as a stretch, but it did show up, and I haven't had anything that high in a while. So it is kind of a... Eliza, can you tell us, using actual words, how long you two were married? 24.6. That one was pretty high. Eliza, come a little bit closer. You know this is Jack and Taylor. They're just trying to learn more about you. But you got to fill in the blanks. Taylor, you got anything?
With the word prevent.
Okay.
Heard 5 come
I thought he
through.
said 805. No?
Whoa, 25, 6, 27.
Heard 8 come through.
He said that's 8 point something, and then it like went to static.
Alright, so you guys heard 8 point something, number 5, there's a 35.5, 43.4. 34. Told you, those are like that's as high as your TV set. So Eliza, we're only going to give this another minute or two. You got to give us a little bit something more defined, please.
Was it calm?
Yeah.
It is calm. It's all zeros right now, Eliza. Get a little closer. Eliza, I'm still looking for you to tell us how many years you and Charles were married. By the way, this is me excited about the 43s and 34s. Like, I'm not a TV show host where the demons are going to be within me kind of bullshit. Like, I'm excited, truly, about some of the things you guys have heard. All right, Eliza, we're going to wrap this one up. Can you tell us goodnight?
We just what was that song? He was like, yeah, like in the back.
Yeah, I'm not writing that one down. Check the word list, Eliza, and we're going to call this one a wrap. It does say record. Still got nothing.
It said to record.
It does say, like, record or record, something
Okay.
along those lines. But it's still, to me, very vague. So, to me, like, I wouldn't count that as any kind of piece of anything. Alright, so let me put this guy away. You guys can continue listening, but I am going to give you all the answers of what I normally have, all the questions that I throw
Okay.
out at you. So it's up to you if you want to continue recording the video.
I'm gonna turn it off.
Yeah, perfect. You got anything else besides 30?
Opportunity. Actually, it's opportunity.
Opportunity what?
To build.
Opportunity to build.
It's kind of a vague reference. I mean, I could really stretch that and spin it if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. It's not direct. So, again, we're going to be here to kind of stir shit up a little bit. And we will go down further just because I do like to point out one attribute about the alley while I'm standing right in front of it. But once we're done here, we're not going to stop and investigate. You're going to hopefully get clues from here over there as well, where we're going to be headed. So just let me know whenever they start to come this way, and then we'll go back down a little bit further. But every ghost tour comes down here. This is the one I'm retiring this year, just so you know, because everybody comes here.
Gotcha.
So it's called Philadelphia Alley now. It's easy to remember because that's where Liza's buried. But
She's buried in the alley?
No, in Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
So again, when I'm triggering, like, how do I remember all of these facts and dates and all of those things, I have to find ways to be able to do that. So Philadelphia is easy for me because we just talked about it. But anyway, before it was called Philadelphia Alley, it was Dueler's Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. I say some because dueling was illegal back in the 1700s. They had to find hiding spots in order to pull it off. This happened to be one of them. So here's how the story goes. I'm going to be giving you a little bit more different detail because this is not a campfire marshmallow story like every other ghost story tells. We're ghost hunting, right? We need those details. Doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. If you hear the song Brown Eyed Girl while you're here, it's not coincidence. And it's actually part of his name. So now that they're coming this way, we'll move this way. Where are you guys from?
I like cobblestone.
Alright, perfect. So, again, it's part of his name. So if you hear it, just let us know. But anyway, he moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée.
Oh my god, that's so weird. I heard wedding dress.
Starting to pick up on things. Good. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash, and the attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. So Dr. Ladd comes here to Charleston to prove that he's not just after her money. He's going to start his medical practice here. On his way into town, he was set up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start. But somebody was walking by. His name was Ralph Isaacs. He's seen what was about to happen. I stopped here because Ralph Isaacs has the same initials as where
Did
the
you
doctor...
just say Isaacs?
I did.
I heard Isaac when we were walking up here. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I thought it was nothing, so I didn't say it, but I heard
That's
Isaac.
why, yep.
Sorry.
Now, he has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. We were getting the letters RI on there, like somebody was spelling something, so I bought another device. Excuse me. It basically acts just like a Ouija board with an EMF format. So if there's a fluctuation in EMF, it stops a cursor on a letter and drops it to another row to see if there's anything being spelled out for us. It's pretty cool, but we don't always get things from it. That's why we don't use it on a regular basis unless I have a fuller team. However, I can't tell you how many times the letters RI have shown up as I'm talking about Ralph. Keep in mind that those two letters are not near each other in the alphabet. So it is not a coincidence at all. The fact that I bought it on more than one occasion. Back to Ralph. He tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. We're going to go to 59 Church Street. My friends can rent you a room and you'll be safe and good to go. He took him up on the offer and the two gentlemen became friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He wasn't after Amanda's cash. So Amanda gets wind of this. She's coming down so they can get married. The doctor heard about that and he became known as the Whistling Doctor. Here's what I'm going to tell you about whistling ghosts. Every haunted city you're ever going to visit is going to have a cliched whistling ghost. Ours is a doctor. I'm just going to put it out there like that. We'll talk more about the whistles afterwards. But anyway, Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. So he gets better seats. That's just the hierarchy of Charleston for you.
Okay.
So, sorry, you guys that keep looking down there like you're waiting for somebody to walk past us. I'm like, is there a ghost?
No, you're
But anyway, they're arguing over this actress on the way home. They went to go see Richard III one night, and Dr. Ladd thought the new actress was great, and Ralph did not. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home at Rhode Island. So it gets pretty pissed off and heated, and they go their separate ways. But I told you Ralph has friends around town. He actually has friends at the newspaper. So he puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of bullshit, right? Doctor saw the ad and went back and forth for a while, but he basically said, let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this, and somebody's going to die. So they came down, they took their 10 paces away from each other, they turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage to show up to the fight. But Ralph has his one bullet, and he puts it in the kneecap of the doctor. So actually one night, just as an example, somebody heard they were laughing, a couple was listening in together, and they were both singing the song Hands on My Knees as we were entering this particular alley. And I said, you laugh, but that's relevant. Let's talk. But anyway, Dr. Ladd fell to the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later, November 2nd of 1786, after refusing medical treatment. Why did he refuse medical treatment? He's a doctor.
He was the only doctor here, maybe.
Right. Well, he wasn't the only doctor, but gunshot wounds in 1786 were a lot different than they are now. It was probably just lead poisoning, but he failed to get rid of it by bleeding it out. So he obviously died. So that's kind of the whole basic gist of the story, but every ghost tour in town will tell you to listen for the whistles while you're down here. It's always this quiet, except when the air conditioners are running. Mm-hmm. Luckily for us, you don't have to listen to them in real time. We have two things running that capture audio, so your camera, my voice recorder. Secondly, we also get the word whistle or whistling from a song coming up in there with the word doctor almost immediately after. I can't tell you how, I've been coming here, again, for 4 years. Can't tell you how many times we've gotten that. And I don't look for it, it just happens. So a couple of things will pop up around here. The number's 59. There are things of attributes of that house will show up from time to time. The word doctor, surgery, gun, the song, somebody will mention something about Guns N' Roses. And ironically enough, the word rose is actually relative to this location too, based on something I didn't tell you. The address at 59 Church Street is known as the Thomas Rose House. So again, Guns and Roses makes sense to me when we hear somebody introducing one of those songs. But again, all kinds of things occur down here. If you're going to try this on your own and take a walk through the whole alley using the voice recorders from your phone trying to capture whistles, just remember that every local knows the story. So anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen is going to throw a whistle down. I do it every night. So my office is actually up at the next street, and we've already passed my garage, which means I have to pass the alley in order to get to my car every morning when I'm done with your data. So I always throw a whistle, especially since I got thrown out of here. Let's talk about that, because that's the fun part of the story. This will also kind of show you how I piece things together. This alley didn't always go all the way through from the way we came in. There was a wall right about where we were standing initially. The reason for that is because this used to be called Cow Alley before it was Dueler's Alley. This is where they kept the livestock. So basically cows and chickens were down here. So that means the bricks on the other end are older than the ones we're standing on. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there and fingerprint swipes in others. And I used to take my groups all the way through here when I first started giving tours around town. So I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. The kid's not there. That's the last place you're going to find him. November 26th of 2020, my entire group of 10 people is huddled around that brick waiting for something to happen with the gear that I gave them. I'm trying to shoo them along because I know nothing's going to happen because he's not there. Yeah. And secondly, it's outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. So, where did that couple go?
They're on the side of it.
Oh. But anyway, I was like, where the hell did they go?
Ghosts.
I know, right? Hopefully got them on video. But anyway, so the new owner of that mansion came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because Dad's getting yelled at, and we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving simply because I worked in upper management for Walmart for a good number of 20 years. So again, I don't do Thanksgiving ever again in my life. So, you get my point. The next day was the 28th. I called my partner that I had at the time, and I told him what happened. He too laughed at me, just like my daughter did. And he said, you're only allowed to go down halfway, or you got to reroute the group. I decided to avoid the whole situation. I'll tell the story outside the alley and reroute. What I told my group that night was, I don't believe in the next story because I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. We're obviously discussing pirates next. However, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne on a spirit box. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be investigating. Famous female pirate Anne Bonny. So I was kind of like, okay, maybe we'll get something. We go up there, I told them the little bit I did know about piracy in Charleston, which wasn't much because I only had less than 12 hours to do a little bit of research. And somebody else hears the number 300. I don't know what it means. I write it down because it's an odd number to hear on the radio. The research showed we were there on November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial.
Oh, man.
Yeah. That's normally the reaction that I get, but I was pissed off. Let me tell you why. I'm a writer. I have a master's degree in creative writing. Even when I'm writing fiction, I like facts and data to be able to make a story. Especially when I'm doing this, I need facts and data. Pirate stories come from pirate lore that was written 100 years after the alleged events. That's a problem for me because they're not accurate. I will tell you that everything we're going to be discussing at the next location came from a minimum of 2 resources, just because I need to make sure we're as accurate as possible. So just kind of keep that in mind. I've read more books on pirates than I've ever wanted to in my entire life, trying to make sure what we're doing is accurate. It is kind of a roll of the dice if she's even going to be there, because she is said to be seen all over town. The hope is that with our moon phase and the other things that we've discussed tonight, that we're going to be able to get some answers from Anne Bonny. Worst case scenario, you're going to hear a crazy-ass pirate story of shit about pirates that you never knew before, because again, you're not going to realize how crazy some of these things actually were back then. And we're also going to hopefully get bleed over from this location, so expect things like 59 or Rose or any of those things. I don't normally give out the Rose piece, but again, you guys are like luring it out of me because you have like these big doe eyes that are just staring at me, absorbing everything. I'm like, shit, I need to tell her everything I know. But at the same time, I mean, you got some great footage. I mean, you've been pretty. This is the second time you've heard 30. Because you had 30 walking in here. You heard May, is it May 30th?
May 30th. I also heard 12 years old.
I got nothing.
Bleed over from one of the children in that first place, maybe? That
We're
was
a little
their
far
age?
away for that.
Well, didn't you say there were children's handprints or something?
There were, but again, there's no evidence of who those people were.
Maybe
Like,
they were 12.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I mean, their handprints are pretty small. Like, if you guys do decide to walk through, you'll see those handprints. And there's one full handprint. I mean, it's pretty small. But it's pretty evident inside of the brick. So May 30th. That's just a very specific date when we're not even near that. Point and shoot, right? Kind of a vague stretch, but it's there. I haven't even looked at my word list. We don't always get EMF in here, so I didn't like whip out the EMF detector. But I do want to see the word list because we have terms on there that are relevant. Whole lot of nothing. This list sucks tonight. I'm just gonna point that out. I'm not ashamed to say it. So if there's nothing there, there's nothing there. I don't see anything so far on this that's relevant at all, unless there's a Rhonda that was down here for some odd reason. Yeah, that's the name that's on there right now.
Weird.
It is. So I would hope for the name Amanda. That was the name of the fiance. All right. Any craziness that you may have seen on there?
I wasn't really looking.
Perfect.
All right.
Where I take a break from the bag. It's like having an old extra layer of clothing on. Alright, so what else have you heard? Anything else crazy? Besides in the stables? Like that's pretty specific, right?
And yeah, it was in the stable she turned her head. It was very specific.
Stables, she turned. So weird. Sorry, I'm still blown away by where the hell that transformer could have been that blew up half the city. Alright, so a lot of tours come through here as well, as you can see. Like this corner is like super popular, but we're going to be looking at that little tiny building up there with the crosses on it, and a lot of other people talk about that building as well. We're just going to look at it in a different light. So you can kind of see like where the raised emotion came from Philadelphia Alley. I'll explain why we're here with that little tiny building. First off, those are not crosses. Those are earthquake bolts. So an earthquake bolt is basically a turnbuckle.
Okay.
If we have another earthquake, they tighten them up, and it stops the building from incurring any further damage. So it's a great idea. It just doesn't work. So you've seen them all over town in the shape of pineapples and lion heads and all kinds of other Charleston charm bullshit. They're all over the place. So even this apartment building behind it, the brick building, has earthquake bolts in on every floor. You can see them. It's just a little bit more modern. So the earthquake bolts I point out on that building simply because those are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. Simply because it's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It's part of the reason why we're here.
Okay.
Now, the building was finished in 1713, but we're here because this building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start a new life. This is just something she would recognize. So on your TV shows, they use that Boo Buddy. So it's the teddy bear with the little blinky light EMF meter in there. They use that because the child would recognize the teddy bear as a toy. It's the same type of principle with this building. We don't have any buildings this old, so hopefully she's going to be here in the same 15 to 20 minutes that we are, and that we're going to get answers from her. That's why I say we get a lot of different things. So that's why I look for the bleed over from Philadelphia Alley over here too, because it's literally right there. The building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? No, not at all. I'll answer for you. It's okay. our history actually begins right in the middle of it. Try to follow me on this one because there's a lot of twists. I will slow down on the twist to make sure you guys grab them because, again, it's a lot of weird shenanigans going on here. 1708, a young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Are you with me so far? Mm-hmm. The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How mad was she that she kicked them out of the country because she found out her husband was cheating and had an illegitimate child? So, and there's no airplanes. They left their asses by boat. So, again, they landed in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. So about an hour and a half.
Israel again.
Israel again.
I also heard 3.
Yeah, I got nothing on 3. That's weird that you heard Israel twice. Maybe I'm going to get somebody named Israel.
Maybe.
Possible.
That is interesting. I already had it written down once, so I'll see if it pops up again. Anyway, so Georgetown, Dad bought a plantation. Mom dies pretty quickly once they land here. So that means Dad is now sending young Anne down here to Charleston to sell things from the plantation to help keep things afloat, hence the familiar building. So let's take a step back to Ireland for just a second. They say Anne was a badass even when she was a little girl. At the age of 7, 8, 9 years old, again, it's pirate lore, nothing is exact, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. Can't tell you how many times I've had servant, knife, and belly show up on 3 different spirit boxes or communication devices without the other 2 people knowing what's going on. So it happens all the time. Mm-hmm. Fast forward, the building's done in 1713, but by 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne's pretty stoked. She's going to fall in love so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. The first guy she falls in love with, and I said first because there's a handful, and that's what makes the story so damn interesting, and that's why we're telling it. We're going to cover them all. The first guy is James Bonney. You already see where this one's going, right? We already mentioned her full name. So Dad didn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. He ran away to Jamaica. They got married. Anne Cormac becomes Anne Bonny. That's where her pirate name came from. However, James Bonney is not Captain Jack Sparrow like what she was hoping. Like she wanted this big badass pirate. Mm-hmm. This guy isn't it. He's a privateer, which means he's a spy for the British, basically reporting back to the British on what the pirates were doing and where they were going to be so they can be ambushed. So he's a coward. This isn't who she wants. A few more years go by and she falls in love again. Guy number 2, John Rackham. Everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, so in case you're wondering who this guy is. He has his own ship, he has his own crew, and wants to be part of the crew. You can't put a female on a pirate ship. Do you know why?
Is it bad luck or something?
It is bad luck. Good job, man.
I'm just guessing.
I actually get some really raunchy answers to that one. So when there's kids involved, I do not throw that question back. So when
I didn't hear the question. What was the question?
That thing is loud as hell, dude.
Why can't you put a female on a pirate ship? It's bad luck.
Oh.
Yeah, see, your wheels were spinning in opposite directions.
Yeah, they were.
So, but anyway, so he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like the crew, you could be part of the crew. She's okay with this. The reason why is Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. But she's a female in his quarters. Let's put 2 and 2 together. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl, and they're going to get rid of Jack as captain. They'll vote him off. So he drops her off in Cuba. These are friends of mine. Go have the baby. Come back later, and we'll figure it out. She goes and has that baby, but returns without a baby. We have no idea what happened to the child. So none of my research of all the damn pirate books I've ever read never say what happened to that child. But she comes back dressed as a girl. This pisses off Jack pretty bad. So, to make him even more mad, she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew that he just captured. They're down below deck. We're on guy number 3. So guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy, to be part of the crew that Calico Jack has captured. Her name is Mary Read. She went by Mark Read to become a pirate. Her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers. We're not going to really know for sure, but the British find out where they are. They send a fleet of ships to come take down one little measly pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates that weren't drunk enough to come up and fight with 1-bullet flintlocks. That's not going to work out because they have a whole navy of guns in front of them, basically, of cannons. They don't know how to use cannons yet. They haven't been pirates for very long. So obviously they get arrested. As they're being arrested, Anne looks at her captain in bow, Jack, and says, "I'm sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up a lot to communication devices. The judge wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunken pirates a few days prior, so they're dead and gone. The 2 ladies go in front, reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves. The judge doesn't give a shit that they're female. He's still going to hang them. They're still pirates. "We plead our bellies," was the last thing they shouted, because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail and delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He brings Anne home. He bails her out, basically, and she remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary. Remember, she was never married to Calico Jack or Mary Read. So she has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt, because we don't know jack shit about her after her pirate career. Mary Read died 5 months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. use your imaginations. Most books will tell you that it was fever. I say let's make it romantic and call it scurvy. Why the hell not? It's pirates. So here's what I left out of the story for you. You can ask whatever the hell you want to. This is not a prominent English woman that you have to tiptoe around. Like I said about Eliza, ask whatever the hell you want to. And if you have to kick her in the shins to get answers, kick her in the shins to get answers.
Well, she got taken back to Ireland. Why is she here, though?
No, she got brought back here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Dad was still here with his plantation.
Okay.
And some of the rumors actually say she went up to Virginia and remarried. Some say she stayed here, changed her name. We don't know where she's buried. We don't know anything about her. We don't know anything, like her children's names. I don't even know where the lineage of 4 children came from, but it was a common theme in most books that I read about her. So and that's where I got that. I don't know what their names are, genders.
11
anything.
years.
11 years. I don't know.
She
I'll
was
write
a
it down.
pirate for 11
Seven.
years.
Huh?
I don't know.
You heard what now?
7.
Yeah, that's common around here. I'll wait for the second one.
Was it 6?
No. So here's what I left out. I left out the name of Anne's parents on purpose, so you had something to work with.
Okay.
I also left out the name of Jack's ship on purpose, the city where Anne grew up in, and the color of her hair. You can probably assume what that one is. I normally give that one to people that are struggling with a spirit box because it's a 1-syllable answer. So again, if you want to ask all 4, you want to ask anything else off the cuff, by all means. This is a fair game. You know what you're doing by now, I should hope. Just remember, you may get clues back and forth from Philadelphia Alley at the same time. So just remember to tell me whatever the hell you're hearing. I'll take a look at my word list here. I'm mainly interested in EMF on this back half because we do have 2 electrical poles. As we get closer, we will get like a 5 or 6 over there. As we get closer to those.
All right, and what is the color of your hair? What? Oh, you want me to hear too?
Sure.
Can you turn it down a little bit? It's
No.
loud.
Did you hear it's red or was it just me? Is it red?
It was red.
Well, Ireland. Irish
She
people.
was an Irish girl,
Oh.
for sure.
Well,
Red hair, green eyes.
All right, come on, Anne. Let's see something. How powerful were you?
What did you hear about the 11? It was 11 years? Is that what you heard?
ask another question.
What are some other questions for Anne?
What do you want to know?
I don't know. How many people did you kill?
Just know I can't prove it if you get a number. And that's okay to have a conversation like that. Those real-time moments are for you guys, not me.
She's your like last request or something.
And this is Jack. So if you want to tell Jack anything, that would be super great. He'd love to hear it.
Yeah, Anne, that would be awesome.
If you hear hanged like a dog, I'm going to shit a brick, just so you know.
Ooh. You did not like that
42?
man.
42.
He's a coward. Say something about him.
42. Oof.
It's great that you asked.
Huh?
See, she's getting good at this. So once that car moves, we're going to head up to that brick wall, and I'm
Okay.
going to have a little experiment with you, if you're okay with that.
All right.
Because she's getting pretty good at this. I want to keep her listening.
Okay.
We'll keep your camera running, but we're going to try something new that I've only tried a couple of times here, just to see if we can get a reaction.
Let's do it.
I just want to see where the hell they're going. All right. Let's take a walk.
You're on your own, champ. All right, Anne, we're waiting for you.
Jack, what do you do for work?
I'm an engineer.
Perfect. That explains why you want to know how the hell everything works. So, come over here and have a seat. So, we're going to try a new experiment that's normally done with the Estes method. Are you familiar with the Estes method?
No.
Okay. Taylor, have you seen the Estes method performed before? It's where they blindfold people, put noise-canceling headphones on them with a spirit box.
Oh, then yes.
Okay, so they added something to go on top of that.
Okay.
However, I've been experimenting with it on a separate occasion. So at the next stop is kind of like it's our last stop, but I will tell you that I always separate it. One person goes as a blindfold and a noise-canceling headphones with a spirit box, and the next person uses my phone, and it's going to use the magnetometer of my phone to create AI imaging. You're going to simply tell us what images you're seeing, and hopefully we're going to get things relative to pirates while we're here as we try to talk to Anne. At the same time, hopefully things will start to correlate. Now, the images that you're about to see have never been generated before because it's using the magnetometer around us. The only reason I brought us over here is so you can sit down. So it wasn't a specific, like, I don't want you walking around with this thing.
Okay.
That's why I asked, like, what do you do for a living, so that way you see how I have to explain it. So have you ever used AI before?
Yes.
Okay, have you ever seen it generate an image?
No. Well, yes, I've seen images generated by it. I've never generated them myself.
So just to kind of give you some images that have been generated for us in the past, this was our last session.
Okay, I'm a little confused on the input. How are you getting inputs into the generator?
It's using the magnetometer of my phone,
So what does that mean?
the EMF.
Okay, so it's
It's
a
interpreting it
numeric
into
value that it's putting into it?
Exactly.
Okay.
So whatever the EMF fluctuation is it's going to generate images, and I've yet to see the same image twice.
Okay.
And I've been doing this for probably about 2.5 months now.
Dude, I'm down.
Only a handful of times at this location. I think you're going to be the third time I've ever done it here. So I'm actually going to erase all of the images because we're going to be doing this at the next location as well. So that way you guys will get all of the images when we're done, and I'll separate it by the location. So if my wife sends you dirty pictures, just let me know what they are. Oh, look at that, we're already getting one coming through. It'll be saved on there, just looks like a lamppost in an alleyway, very similar to the lamppost in the alley. Again, I don't make this shit up, it just does whatever it's going to do. Have you ever used one of these before?
Yeah.
Okay, so your head's the mouse, you got that part, right?
Okay, I got you.
So it's going to be very simple. Your focal point is right here, it's a little dial.
Okay.
So once you strap this guy on top of your head, when you get in there, I'll take that from you. So we're just going to set this down, strap that on your head, and I'll kind of walk you through on how to get it started. I'm just going to set this down so it just records something steady for us.
Alrighty. Alright. I think I'm in.
Okay, can you see?
Oh, there it is.
So
just the sucker.
So towards the bottom, if you look down just a little bit, you'll see the word ready. You want to hold it there
Okay.
until the circle fills in.
My focus is kind of crap.
Yeah, it's not the best. Underneath where your thumb is on your left hand, there's
I can
also...
kind of make out the text. I think that's probably fine, right?
I don't need you to really read anything except for the bubbles at the bottom.
Okay.
So you should only have one
So
bubble.
I'm going to do the ready thing now then.
Yep, be ready, and then go immediately to the left once it fills in.
Okay.
You're looking for seer session.
So there's 4 additional bubbles that popped up with Ghost Tube.
Yeah, go to the left button, the left one.
Okay, Seer Vision. Okay,
And
activating
hold it there. Yep. And now we wait. I'll keep you under for 10 minutes and kind of see how this goes. It's 10:20 right now. So, Anne, we're trying this experiment again. So any images you want to give us, just put them inside the green box. This is Jack. I've already mentioned his name.
Let's see what you got. And
Of course, Taylor, tell us whatever. She can't hear me. She got both ears. Just tell us whatever you're hearing. Just shout them out.
So it's currently just fog right now.
Yeah, and that's the way I have it set up so you guys don't fall asleep in there. Just so you know, there's a whole other tour kind of approaching this way. You're going to be staring at you.
Okay, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't either. That's why it says paranormal investigator on the back of my vest. Because that way it says, what the hell did I pay for? And anything you want to show us, if you're here, I'm looking for pirate ships, I'm looking for skull and crossbones, swords, anything you want to show us, Anne.
Let's see that coward hung like a dog. A lot of smoke.
And I've seen where 10-minute sessions may give us 1 image, it might give us 8.
Okay.
So just kind of give you an idea.
Show us something.
Come on, Ann, whatever you want to show us. I haven't had any success here, just so you know.
Okay. So no fluctuations with the magnet. Would you say it was magnetron or
The
something?
magnetometer of the phone.
Magnetometer?
I don't know that the electrical poles this close over here would influence it that much. It may interfere, but I can't see it generating images with that low amount.
And they are very strict. No one's allowed inside with vapes or matches or lighters. I think it's a little crazy that they still have their machine there. Filled,
Lots of
but
kids walking by here now.
obviously that's
Perfect timing.
I know,
don't have
right?
to see him. Alright, nothing yet.
Taylor, you got anything?
Just suffering again.
Suffering again.
Common thing.
And Bonnie, if you're here, show us something. Just get close to this green box. This is Jack. It's on his face. You can see whatever you want him to see. You want to try to create an image of yourself, a female with red hair,
Ooh, let's see it.
wearing male pirate garb. Map of Ireland.
Bad boy.
We had that here last week too. That's kind of funny. Bad boy and suffering.
Actually, the cologne he wears is called.
What's that?
The cologne he wears is called Bad Boy.
That's the first time I've seen that on here.
On a reading or something?
It's the LMAO, but it's spelled out LMAO on this word list. I've never seen that before.
Maybe she found something funny.
Maybe. I doubt she knows freaking emojis, but been under for 4 minutes, just so you know,
Okay.
with no imaging. Dr. Ladd, if you're close by, we'll take something from you as well. Anything surgical, medical, dueling, guns.
From suffering.
And we need more than just suffering. No images at all?
Nope.
Damn, dude, you broke my shit.
I don't know, man. I don't know if it's user error.
I had one night where nothing happened.
Let's see some shit.
Oh, we're gonna use it again at the next spot.
That's a hotter spot.
Uh,
And she's really not coming through right now.
yeah. Again, this is a 50-50 shot with this location.
Come on, man.
And what do you got? And again, I haven't really trained her on how to use it. So I've only done this like 3 times.
So how would you explain to her how to use it?
Just come close to the box, because basically things about her will start to show until she can start to get the gist of how it works. Just practice. It's like that damn Ouija board device. The ghosts don't know how to use it yet. I mean, I've had it for 6
Still a little confused on how a numeric reading translates to a descriptive text to generate the image via the AI.
It's almost like the same thing of like when I use AI imagery, I'm using it to create new images for social media posts. So I'll tell it to, hey, can you put 2 people against a brick wall, one standing next to them
Yeah.
with a vest, and like it's very specific.
Okay.
And some of those images we get are very specific.
546. I see trees.
Trees. You're getting a whole lot of nothing too. Yeah, this one has been a dud so
Wizard.
This is not witchcraft. What's the number again? 536?
Relaxing.
Okay, and we'll try again tomorrow. we're going to call it on this one since you haven't given us anything.
Come on, Ann. Let's see it.
Last chance.
Come on.
That's good.
I mean, it's probably just coincidence, but like your vapor screensaver thing you got going on in between. It kind of looked like a Jolly Roger at the very end there, coming through.
Unfortunately, it won't save that unless we were recording video. So we'll try this again at the next spot. But I do want to see the picture that it did generate at the very beginning when I was piecing it together.
Mm-hmm.
So that lamppost is almost identical to what's in that alley that we were just at. So definitely looks like a foggy street. But this would have generated before you and just kind of floated
Now,
there.
do you know what generated that? The input? Okay.
I can only assume by some of the photos that I get, like where it would have come from. And I usually ask pretty direct questions, especially with our next location. I'm not going to give you the history ahead of time, like what I've been doing all night long. Like you two are going to sit on a bench. You're going to put this gear back on, unless of course you wanted to try it. You guys switch this up. She may have better luck. But at the same time, based on the imagery that shows up, hopefully if I'm asking his occupation, he shows me a tool of his occupation. He shows me something he would create. You know what I mean? And we've gotten answers like that. There's been other instances, because where we're going is a lot of different memorials in there. I've had interference from some of the other memorials, like full-blown cartoon versions of somebody that died. There's a memorial of that person there. Like craziness. Like when I say cartoon versions of them, like the facial features are identical. So again, we get some weird shit at the next location, but I will tell you, he's a little tired of me. It's the news space. So we started off with just a normal investigation like what we did here and at the Pinckney Mansion site. We ask questions, we walk around, we gauge readings, and then I started diving into the Estes method with blindfolding people. I will just normally only do the blindfolds when there's 4 or more of you, because I take half the group and I go tell them what's going on, like the history, and then we come back and then we do it so that way they can at least see the verification of it in real time. Otherwise, it's the blindfold part is almost redundant. I'm still going to give you guys the full history after we kind of keep you guys under for 10 minutes underneath this guy and kind of see where it goes instead of you looking for the Jolly Roger in the smoke. If you're getting my point, I don't want any suggestive thoughts at all.
Yeah.
But again, let me give you the quick answers to all of these. And Bonnie, here's your camera back. You just hang on to that for me. You can stop it if you want. It just remains. Taylor, you're going to hear me talking to a gentleman named Henry. If you're too loud, I'm going to tell you to tone it down a bit.
Okay.
Because you may want to put in both earbuds.
You put both.
Just trying to tone it down a little bit.
Use your like name. It's kind of.
Yeah, that one's inlaid a little bit.
Just go over just there.
We have gotten triple digits here before, so I'll be keeping an eye on this as we're kind of going through this. You got anything smoke yet?
Yeah, some
Castle?
with like candy trees or something. Oh, bubblegum. There's a tree blowing bubblegum.
Henry, you're going to have to explain this because I don't understand
And
that
it looks
at all.
like a pink, some kind of like stuffed animal with an eye, a really big eye.
Henry, who's coming through here? Did you bring somebody else with you? That's a yes/no question if you want to answer it.
Oh, wait. When I put these on, there was an image. Was that intended or not?
No, it just, sometimes that just happens. Like we had that one with the lamppost. Jack didn't see that.
Did you start it off right? Like was it already going? Like you didn't have to do like the
Right.
check boxes and stuff?
I did it for her.
Okay.
Henry, if you're here, show us something that would be relative to your occupation. We're sitting on a different bench tonight. You're going to have to come find us. So just say you've been in here for about a minute. And try not to do more than 10 minutes because it can be very disorienting, especially when you're blindfolded and listening to that, like the sensory deprivation piece.
I don't know what I'm looking at. A
Sometimes-
door with a lock on it.
What kind of door is it? Was it made out of?
I don't know, it's gray.
Sounds like a steel door.
Yeah,
Interesting.
and there's like a thing in the middle. It's like a box with like knobs, like 5 knobs, and then there's like a hole underneath it.
Henry, I'm not understanding these images. Of course, you know I'm going to take a look at them. But I was hoping you were going to give us something relative to your occupation. Maybe some of your tools or something you would create. I'll take any of those type of answers. Well, she is better at this than you, Jack. Sorry.
A little bit. Yeah, I got the cold spot. Though.
I just, yeah,
She's
I don't,
getting the hot spot.
I don't think we had anything going on back there, to be honest with you. There wasn't any kind of clues at all. Henry, you're going to have to come closer. Use the green box to show us what you want us to see. Use the red box.
So we can hear you.
Tell us whatever you want us to hear. This is Jack and Taylor. Jack, you got anything?
I'm getting like little clips, not like a lot of more static. I'm getting some things, but I can't really understand it.
And just, no matter how silly you think it is, because you don't know what this guy's occupation is. It could have been a male stripper, for all you know. Henry, can you tell us where we are? What's the name of the park?
Investments.com.
Like laser focus even when you're under VR, Taylor. You haven't budged. Little freaking statue under there. Henry Timrod, I need you to push through. We're sitting in a different bench tonight. I asked you a few questions already. Where we are. Something about your occupation. And if somebody else was here, who is here? I'm at flat zeros, by the way. I mean flat.
The whole time.
Yep. Not a inkling, not even an inch budge of like 0.1.
So where's the normal hotspot?
So I normally have us sit over there because it's close to the bust of Henry Timrod. However, the highest EMF I've ever had has been in this general area at 167.
Ooh.
Like, again, that was almost a year ago now. We had that come up that high. We've had other triple digits, but 167 is the record I have for this location. A woman. Henry, are you showing us your wife?
Looking at plants.
What's the time period?
Very modern.
Very modern. Marguerite, if you're here, you need to give us something a little bit more specific, please. I'm still stuck on the word stance.
Tax attorney.
Didn't you hear investment earlier?
Mm-hmm.
had modern office women show up in those images before and couldn't make heads or tails of it.
Didn't look like she was in an office though.
Henry Timrod, you gotta push through. This is our final hurrah of the night. And we're down to 5 minutes. You know how this works, Henry. Just gotta come a little bit closer, give us the imagery, answer a few questions, and we'll leave you alone. Henry Timrod, still on stance. Come on, Henry. We came in with respect. Are there too many people in here for you tonight? He does not like when there's a big crowd in here.
Yeah, you can talk to you.
Yeah. And they're all staring at you, Taylor. You have a box on your face. Still sitting at zeros. Absolutely nothing. No other images.
I felt like there were two that were going to come up, and then they faded back out.
Are you looking at the? So what, it shows the image for X amount of seconds, then it goes back to the.
I've seen them
Yes.
stay on there for like 2 to 3 seconds. I've had other ones stay on for 10 to 15 seconds. And then I've seen other ones that, like she said, start, but then they like fade away right away. It's almost like it had something to go with, and then they just disappeared. I was like, yeah, no. Henry, you gotta give us something before we leave the space. Before I tell him your history.
Give us a sign.
Henry, can you tell us what church is across the street? It's something very specific. Normally, the church bells will normally go off during the time frame that I'm here because they go off like every 10 to 15 minutes. And I use that during the Estes session because the person under with the blindfold can't hear me. So they don't know what I'm asking. Because I will ask real-time questions like that just to verify. You got something, Taylor? I'm looking around.
No.
Spare.
That's creepy as hell.
What is it?
It's 3 girls, young girls,
Okay.
and their eyes are fucking like black, and they look sad. Oh, the one on the right looks angry. She's the smallest. The one in the middle, you can see they kind of look like they have cat's eyes, like they're black, oval, and then it was creepy as shit.
So if it's in the same art style of what I seen that other one, where it was almost an exact image of a cartoon image.
It looks like a painting. Like,
Try to get one more image. Come on, Henry, Marguerite, whoever wants to show us something. We're close to Marguerite's memorial. So I don't normally go after her, but and I don't know that she had 3 daughters. I'll have to dive in. I don't know much
yeah,
about
they all had straight brown hair.
I'll dive in and see what I can find. Jack, nothing.
Trees.
I just heard even disaster.
Trees.
Forest. It's great. And
A lot of nothing.
yeah, just trees. Long,
Tall pines.
barren. I don't know if they're pines. skinny. They don't have any like leaves or anything on them. They're just like giant sticks, let's put it that way.
Okay. Interesting. I'm gonna call it because Jack's not here and Jack shit on that thing. And you gave us what, 4 images total? It's been about 9 minutes. So I was like, I'm not taking it
Wait,
off.
I got another one. Oh.
What's this one?
Children, they look like they're in the midst of playing, like running.
Okay. How many?
There's a big 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a little bird. There's some birds in the sky, and like in the middle, far away, it looks like a mountain. The first kid, it has a stick. Well, the second kid has a stick too.
Time
And
period?
his arm is like flashing. What's the blue dot mean?
Blue dot.
There's a flashing blue dot.
I don't know.
It was like a turquoise dot. Oh, there was a flashing turquoise dot underneath the third kid.
No idea. Sometimes when it's trying to generate the image, it doesn't know what to do. So I've seen like deformed hands and limbs and all kinds of crazy deformities while I've been under. Okay, there we go. Henry, what are we hearing from the church?
But I think I just heard, "Are you on Facebook?"
Henry, what sound is that coming from the church?
It's Saturday.
More of the same sounds, Henry. What is that? Answers here, Jack. Nothing.
Not really.
All right, Taylor. Let's get you out of there.
All right.
We'll cover the answers. Or, I gotta tell you the whole story, but let's look at the images first.
Yeah, I want to see.
Jack's like, I didn't give you a shit. I want to see what happened. Alright.
Wait, so what generates those images?
Using the EMF picking it up from my phone. So I explained it to Jack as like, think of it as the ghost influencing the EMF around the phone
Okay.
and telling it what to do. So we're gonna go. Did you see that?
Yes.
I'm like a half alligator. That's what you started off with, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't like I didn't see the moon, and the background was like yellow.
You probably had a pan around the image.
Yeah, I don't know what that was, and that's the tree bubblegum. It was like that little pink ball kept like going out, like deflating.
Definitely looks like something out of a children's book.
Yeah, it does.
Let's see where you get that. So here's your panel of doors.
Yeah.
And something very specific on there.
Oh, I couldn't make out the number.
So it looks
Something
like
99.
C0996 maybe?
They look like knobs, kind of.
Oh, maybe just knobs with shadows in
Maybe.
different spots.
Could be. They're much easier to see when you get them on the computer.
What's that ring?
I don't know.
I couldn't. I was like, is that a key? What is that? It's trapped inside.
It's like a feather almost. I don't know. That's kind of weird. She's not creepy at all.
No, she looks like very like.
Yeah.
Modern though.
Very.
That was fucking creepy.
It was really weird. Again, I'm really diving
Natives, maybe.
into Marguerite to see if she had 3 daughters. I know she had one for sure. In her forest. This looks like there's some kind of street lights or something, some kind of light.
There's like a white line right there. Can there something on the tree? No. Roped around the tree or no?
Maybe.
The distance kind of looks that way.
Very weird. What the hell is this?
I have no idea. Yeah,
It's
so
like Sleepy
those
Hollow,
were
right?
Looks like some spooky shit. Looks like
so
some Tim Burton film or something.
in
Yeah.
here. That must be the dot, maybe. But I saw it. He was blinking, he was flashing right here underneath that kid's jump.
Yeah, there's definitely some creepy shit.
You didn't see anything?
Nope.
Mm-mm.
So
Nothing
he
at
had
all?
one image generate, but it was as I was putting it into the
Oh.
viewer. But yeah, I don't know what the hell that thing is. So the only thing I can look into is the children piece, just to see who had 3 kids. Because the
Don't
first
you
one I'm
think
about to tell
that's
you.
creepy?
Oh yeah,
That is creepy for
it's
sure.
black eyed children for sure. I just don't know if she had 3 daughters and what that meant. So I am going to show you the like the image of the cartoon lady that I told you about, and then her real image, so you can see the facial features. I know I sent it to my father-in-law, because he was kind of like, oh shit. My father-in-law is my biggest fan. Like, he's always like, what new shit you got now? He is literally my biggest fan.
I wonder what they meant by what? Are you unfaithful? In what?
Yeah, I was
In
actually
religion
asking-
or
I don't know.
As the church bells
as
are going off.
what's happening now?
So here's the image that generated. Very creepy,
It's creepy too.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at her facial features of the eyebrows, the hairstyle, the mouth lines, and here's that woman's daughter.
Oh wow. Yeah,
so
the eyes.
eyebrows,
Mhm.
facial features, like hair. I mean, it was all like
Yeah.
it was literally a cartoon version of that lady.
Oh wow.
I mean, you could definitely see where I was like, "Oh my god, are you kidding me?"
Is
So
her is her hand like?
so this almost looks
Just
like
melt?
her chin is melting.
Yeah.
It's gross.
Yeah, but that is that woman's daughter,
Ah.
and she had that picture was originally from her obituary. So that's how I found her. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff I'm looking for. That I was looking for, like out of that. So let's cover who the hell I was talking about. So I'm going to turn your spirit box off. That's the button up here. Just kind of hang on to it until I collect. I didn't get any EMF here while I was here. I was actually pretty disappointed in that. At least sometimes we'll get like at least a 3 or 4. And I was expecting, because we were over in this corner, to get at least more than a 3 or 4. Because I don't come over here very often. Normally we do everything right where that group is standing on that bench. And we'll get a couple of little guys. But first time I came here was with a couple, because it was November. After Halloween, every year I start looking for my new spot. And I start experimenting with different areas around town to see where I'm going to get the most activity to put it into the following year, starting in January, full force. First time I came here, told the couple, older couple, she had a spirit box, and I said, just tell me whatever you hear. I don't know what we're going to find. Every ghost tour comes here. I want to know why. So she hears the year 1828 and the name Henry. And I'm using the word list just like I am tonight. And the name Tim shows up. That bust over there is Henry Timrod, born in 1828. And I was like, well, holy shit, it doesn't get any more specific than that.
Yeah.
So here's the quick story on him. He was obviously old enough to go fight in the Civil War, and he